I guess I'll call this number 6 in the long goodbye series of videos. It's basically a reply video to Nick and this Alex Jones video. You know, he has the worst 2.5 hours of my life. Stupidest video ever made, I think. Maybe. Well, anyway, by length of time, has to be pretty dumb. I mean, they could have done this in like 5 minutes. I mean, it was just such bullshit. I mean, just all this, you know, conspiracy theory crap with no, you know, no paper trail, no reality, just a lot of speculation, a lot of bullshit. And then the last hour was just so silly. I mean, you know, starting to, you know, blaming, you know, calling, you know, equating Planned Parenthood and the World Wildlife Fund with Adolf Hitler. I mean, it's just so idiotic. And the idea that population control is evil is just crazy ass stuff. So anyway, and you know, Matt has done a reply video where he points out that this Alex Jones idiot is, you know, apparently a big fan of Ron Paul. You know, I don't know how deeply they're connected, but it's the big joke, you know, because Ron Paul really is, he's a religious nut, and he probably doesn't want to see population control. I think a lot of this comes from, you know, the white racists. They're just afraid that, you know, population control means white people will have less kids, and they're, you know, but I mean, the bottom line is yeah, that's the inevitability, is, you know, people have more education, people who have an older civilization don't breed as rapidly as the poor, and so that seems an inevitable consequence. So I don't know how big an issue that is with some people. I mean, people get so crazy about that kind of stuff, and I understand some of it. Like I said, it's just a practical reality, and if people are going to keep thinking that it's all about, you know, some sort of racial cleansing or some sort of cleansing for some other purpose other than the fact that we cannot sustain a world with this many people in it, we're not going to have the resources to do it. And so there has to be some limitations put on population. It's just a fact. And you can either take the limitations in a voluntary, graceful way, or you'll end up having them the hard way. And there will be, people will be killed and harmed and horrified, and there'll be blood and guts on the streets. Or you can do it in a rational, disciplined, responsible, humane way. And those are going to be our two choices. And if assholes like this prevail, this Alex Jones, then we're going to be doomed to do it the hard way, because they're going to equate anything rational, anything logical with Adolf Hitler. Anytime you use your brain, you're Adolf Hitler. And it's just bullshit. I mean, they even equated, you know, Darwin and Huxley as a bunch of supremacists, you know, that was their intention. And then anybody who thinks there's any point in being a little concerned about genetic quality and a little worried about the quality of, yeah, the gene pool. I mean, it sort of is important. You want if 1 in 3 babies are going to be born retarded, I mean, that's not a good thing. You know, we should try to, you know, avoid that if possible, to take certain things out of our gene pool if possible. But to do it in a humane manner. There's nothing, you don't have to get draconian. If people would just get with the fucking program, get with the real world, and realize we can't just live like fucking animals. We have to be cultured, sophisticated, and rational, reasonable. So anyway, I don't know if there's too much else I have to hit here, except for the fact that, you know, it is kind of ironic. You know, this guy's all worried about the rich, you know, controlling us. And so he'll support somebody like Ron Paul, who's, you know, an advocate of the rich. I mean, he wants to make the rich richer. There's nothing, the income tax isn't paid by regular people. All right? The majority of working people don't pay fucking income tax. And that's the tax he wants to get rid of. The one tax the rich pay more, he wants to get rid of. The only progressive tax left, he wants to get rid of. I mean, isn't that glaring? Isn't that obvious? It's just crazy. And you know, if you dare say anything about inheritance, these people all go crazy. So I mean, it's obviously they love legacy wealth. They love the Rothschilds and the rest of them being rich forever. They want the monarchy. They're supporting the monarchy. The policy they're imposing is defending, supporting, creating, maintaining the monarchy. So I almost think these people are a setup. I mean, I watched this video and I almost want to give the barnacles, I almost want to contribute to the rich people. I want to give them more money. Yes, here, take some of my money too to fight these crazy ass religious nuts. You know, that's the irony. It's just like it's like almost reverse psychology. So I'm almost thinking the barnacles must be setting up this Alex Jones guy just to fuck with our heads and make us you know, actually give the rich people money, because look what the rich people have to fight with. Some asshole, you know, stands outside of governor's mansions with a bullhorn because, yeah, a fucking politician went to a meeting with a bunch of rich people at it. Duh. You know, politicians know that's how you get elected, you see. It takes money to get elected because you have to put your fucking 30-second commercials on to fool all the gullible asshole Americans that you're defending, the retards that you want to genetically make more of. You know, the retards you don't want to control the population of. We need more retards who are going to decide who they're going to vote for based on a 30-second commercial. Yes, that's just what the world needs. More of that exact kind of great American. The great American retard who votes based on a 30-second commercial. So, fuck Alex Jones. Yes, he is crazy. He's just a fucking useless prick bastard. And I'm, like I said, I'm kind of pissed off, Nick, that you should have, you know, you could have spent another 20 seconds and just told me it was the wackiest video you ever saw. But, you know, at least you could have said, look, don't bother with the whole thing, just watch maybe the last half hour, because it gets really loopy. So anyway, yeah, I haven't pursued, you know, I haven't done, you know, this number 6 in this series, just because there's two issues. There's trying to figure out how exactly the fall will come. You know, I mean, how we're going to crash. I mean, how the economy's going to fall apart, the global warming thing, the energy thing, all these things, sort of getting that straight. And I haven't quite got that figured out yet. I mean, not that I'm going to figure it out, but I just mean you have to have some kind of idea of what's going to happen. I mean, how will the cities degrade? How will, you know, resources, you know, what happens to the suburbs, what happens to people, infrastructure, all that crap, you know, food especially, because, you know, food right now is dependent on an infrastructure that works, and if the infrastructure falls apart, there's going to be, like, you know, New York City is completely dependent, you know, on their food traveling hundreds of miles, and if their food can't reliably travel those miles anymore, there's going to be 10 million people with nothing to fucking eat, and it's going to be a big fucking problem. So, but anyway, these are all the scenarios, you know, and the other side of it is, how do we engineer this graceful slide down the peak oil mountain, and we can do it gracefully. I mean, it's not like we're going to run out in 20 years or we're going to run out in 40 years. We're going to run out depending on how we use it. If we modify our use, we can extend that 100 years. And especially if we put our effort, you know, even the $1 trillion we just wasted on this idiotic war, if we spent that $1 trillion on investments in alternative energy, which is available, it's just not cheap. I mean, it's cheap over time, it's cheap over the long term, but it's not cheap in the short term. Oil, you can pull it out of the ground now, pay for it now, and use it now. Alternative energy, you're going to get less energy out of it over a longer period of time, and over a longer period of time the investment gets better and better. It gets cheaper and cheaper, but you have to use it over the long term. It has to exist over the long term. It's like a nuclear power plant. It doesn't, you know, it's not cost effective the first year, it's cost effective the 15th year. Or a dam, or any of these things. So anyway, but that's where our investments have to be, is in the future. We actually have to think in terms of the future. And I think I've actually made this point to somebody, that you know, what has to happen is there has to be at least a generation, maybe two, that's going to be in sacrifice mode. They're going to have to think in terms of, yes, they're going to sacrifice for the future, because it's not going to happen. If they're going to keep demanding more, then yeah, forget it, we're doomed, we're fucked. And so the only way it's going to happen is that people have to have lower expectations. They can't expect to have a family. They can't expect to have this and demand that, and all the traditions and all the other bullshit. A lot of that crap's got to go. And I've sort of argued that these rebels, these freedom fighters who just can't tolerate the idea of, no, we can't identify ourselves. We can't have an ID. We can't have this. We can't, all this government paranoia stuff. So they're going to have to swallow some of that. And they're going to have to acquire some trust, and that's going to take a political change. And
let's say you have an organization of 15,000 people. If you've got 15,000 votes that you can guarantee to give to a candidate, they'll listen to you, and you can get some guarantees out of it.